to talk a bit more about that UNESCO resolution, Ambassador, basically denying the Jewish heritage on the Temple Mount. You're here, you're at the UN. What were your thoughts when this came down? And why is this so dangerous, this UNESCO resolution?
It's a ridiculous, shameful resolution saying that Jews don't have a connection to the Temple Mount. It's ridiculous. And when I speak with my colleagues, most of them are Christians, I tell them it's not offending only the Jews, but it's offending the Christians. Because if the Jews have no connection to Jerusalem, it goes for the Christian as well. And I think people understand that sometimes the radicals trying to embarrass Israel, but the outcome is exactly the opposite. They're embarrassing themselves. Because when you see the language of the resolutions, it has no connection to reality.
No. It's interesting, though, because Yom Kippur was recognized at the UN for the first time under your ambassadorship.
My philosophy is to respect all religion, but I demand that you will respect Judaism as well. So I put a kippah, the yarmulke. When I addressed the Security Council, we got Yom Kippur to be recognized as an official holiday of the UN. The same way we respect Christmas and Eid al-Fitr, now we respect Yom Kippur. And we even got kosher food now into the cafeterias of the UN. You know, if Christian and Muslim can find food they can eat, so now also Jewish people who work at the UN are able to find food they can eat.
Yeah, your boldness comes in handy in those situations, Ambassador. I would also think with the Iran nuclear threat. Talk about how that threat still looms. There's a tendency, I think, among some in the West after the Iran nuclear deal to say, hey, the problem has been kicked down the road, so to speak. Talk about why Iran is still such a grave threat, not only for Israel, but for America and the West.
When I speak with Arab leaders, the first issue they bring up is the issue of Iran. That is the first issue, that is the main threat for the Gulf countries, because they know that Iran intends to invest more in promoting terrorism in our region. And that's why we believe that we should see the sanctions being enforced. We should apply more sanctions against Iran. And when you look what they are doing now in Lebanon, I revealed at the Security Council a few weeks ago that Iran is using commercial airplanes to transfer missiles from Iran to Beirut and Damascus. They're using commercial flights. That is unbelievable. I exposed it and I demanded that the Security Council will address it. So I think people understand that Iran is a threat not only to the Gulf state, but also for the Western societies.
Yeah, it's amazing that pipeline they have, Ambassador, from Tehran, Damascus to Beirut into the hands of Hezbollah is the intention in many cases. There are many threats to Israel. Obviously, we have that terror, nuclear threat from Iran, but we also have the more, I guess you would say, diplomatic threat in the form of BDS, boycott, divest from, sanction Israel, that movement. Now, at the General Assembly, you held a conference on the BDS threat. For our viewers who might not be that familiar with what BDS is, share with us what it is and why it is so dangerous for Israel.
BDS is a new wave of anti-Semitism. Today, it's not politically correct to say, I am against the Jews. So those people who hate the Jewish people, they say we are against the state of Israel. And they call to boycott and to divest and to apply sanctions against Israel. And we need to fight it. We need to fight it by legislation. And a few countries already passed legislation, and we are very happy to see it here in the US. We need to fight it in campuses where Jews and Christians who support Israel, and I'm familiar with those brave youngsters, should not be afraid. They should have the right to stand up and support Israel publicly. And the boycott, that is outrageous to see 70 years after the Holocaust that an organization like the UN is creating a blacklist, a database of companies that should be boycotted. This is unacceptable, and I encourage people to buy material from Israel, to come to visit Israel. This is the best answer to the BDS, is to invest and to come to Israel.
Boycott the boycotters.
Exactly.
Talk about how, I guess you would say, the gains Israel's making in the world and the new relationships are being formed, including here at the UN.
We see a change. People understand that Israel is not the problem. Israel can be the solution. Even some of the moderate Arab countries understand it. We see the African countries understand that we can support their agriculture, innovation, technology, and we are happy to share our knowledge with other countries. And we see the shift. And today, more and more people want to cooperate with Israel. And you look at the threats of cybersecurity, terrorism. Today, it's not applied only to Israel. all of those countries in Africa and many other countries share the same concerns that we do. So we have the experience, we have the knowledge, and we are willing to share it.
Ambassador Danon, thank you so much. Keep it up.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Coming up, see what life is like for a Christian living in Israel and a Christian living in the Palestinian territories. There's a big difference. Learn the truth after the break. Don't move.